Okay, here we are on the outskirts of Cambridge right now. We're with the millsys Muscle Shop. Chris, thank you very much, Chris Mills.
Thank you.
Really pleased to be here.
Thanks for coming.
Tell us a little bit about this and then we'll talk about your history, because this is just an awesome piece of kit you got here.
Well, this is my 51 fleetline. They call it a fastback coupe. One of my customers owned this car actually, so it wasn't something I was looking for or was never meant to be, you know, what it is today. We bought it it was in a million bits and pieces. It was an unfinished project. He bought it and then found a car finished. So this is just sat in the corner of his garage. I bought it for £1,000, believe it or not, which I thought was a pretty killer deal. And I was going to sell it because I do a lot of auction cars and whatnot, so I thought I'll just piece this back together in a couple of days, get some photos and flip it. And I just fell in love with the shape.
Yeah.
You know, I've never had a 50s car before, and I don't know, just the body lines and, you know, the roof, I was just sold. So we threw it together, had a little small block in it, just to kind of terrorise the streets.
Yeah.
And then we put a big block in it, and then yeah.
Different ballgame. You've had a lot of people who, obviously I know, who have had a look at the car, had an input into the car, Andy Robinson, of course John Webster, and other people as well. And even now people are still interested in helping out with the car and stuff like that. So going back a little bit, your history with cars and building cars.
Yeah.
Because obviously you're from Australia.
I am, Sydney, Australia. Born in the mid-70s, and I was just lucky enough to grow up with a couple of guys older than me and kind of catch that tail end of, you know, street cars in the 80s, and everyone I knew had, you know, big block Holdens and Fords, and I was just besotted with it, you know.
Yeah.
Seeing these guys around the streets with a big block turbo 409-inch with a mini sport in it, I was like, this is, I don't know, I was just take it, you know.
Yeah.
I was just bitten by the bug, so, which is what we wanted to do here, you know. Everyone does it completely differently and have their own vision of what they want. But like I said, I just grew up with big blocks and all that sort of stuff, so I just wanted to build an old school kind of street car that, you know, that people would talk about, you know, just be an animal on the street, really.
So you've got a good mechanical background then?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And then you're going from like street cars to big blocks, animals. You know, so I mean we saw this at Manston last weekend, absolutely blown away with it. So you're just used to doing this sort of stuff, building the cars. Tell us a little bit about, we'll go back to the car, a little bit about what you actually do with the muscle shop, the cars and everything else.
Well, I was always straight out of school, I was a mechanic by trade, you know, just for a dealership, and always on the weekends though, I think I learned more at home in my driveway building old cars than I probably did at work, you know. I've just always been passionate about, you know, old classic and vintage cars. I just can't say no to them, and I suppose having various jobs over the years, you just get to a point where you think, I just need to be doing something every day that I love it.
So you've got, what's your favourite brand really?
I'm definitely a big block Chevy guy, but then again I don't have any sort of, I've had big block Fords and I've had all, but I think a big block Chevy to me is my cup of tea, you know?
Yeah.
It really is. Just something about it, easy to work on, so reliable. When you get it right, you know, a lot of people say to me, I wonder what you're going to make. And I said, in all fairness, you probably won't. It's such a tried and tested.
Yeah. It's like we were talking earlier. When you take the say, for instance, onto the strip, you've got to bear in mind it's not just a case of going up to the lights, wait for. You've got to bear in mind that you can't burn out in first gear and everything else, because you'll do damage and everything. So it's all a learning curve. But it's a great feeling, and you know, I'm sure that at some point you will take this out there, but you must have a great deal of pleasure taking this to shows and things like that.
I think my favourite thing is people ask me all the time, you know, and I suppose it's the same for a lot of guys, like the creative side and putting it together is by far my favourite bit. You know, I've got a good friend of mine who's a panel beater and a painter, and him and I did, you know, the things from start to finish, but just buying your tyres, you know, cut the wheel tubs out, and just that first glance of what the car could look like.
Yeah.
It's just, nothing can beat that, you know. I think I always say, if you have a, and that's one thing I've learned over the years, if you have, when you get a little bit of age under your belt, I would have thrown this thing together pretty quick in my 20s, but sometimes you walk away now and you think, well, I can send that off for powder coat, or I can get that done, or this done, and it might take a little bit longer, but if you stick to your vision, you know, the result's always going to be better than you anticipated.
This is a vision on its own. You know, we just love these sort of things. You know, racetracks, but also out on the streets for people to see them. You know, the custom car magazines and so on.
Yeah.
This is, you know, this is a boy racer's dream, isn't it? Really, something like this.
It's definitely different, isn't it?
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know, you don't see. Like I said, I didn't choose the car. I always say the car chose me, but it just, the lines of the car, you know, the rear arches, and it just lends itself so well to big tyres and you know, that kind of street strip look, I think.
Yeah, and it is street legal as well.
Yeah, and it behaves quite well on the street, to be quite fair. For what it is, I didn't think it was going to, but I had a few issues with the cooling initially, but once we got that dialed in, so happy just to, you know, drive up and down the street and sit on the motorway and, yeah.
It's an eye turner, isn't it? So tell us a little bit about the other sort of work that you do. Because obviously you've got cars at the back here, you've got the full Capri up there, which is, you're lucky if you keep it by the end of the day, to be honest. Capri there, is that a race over here as well? Or shut down?
Car to Merc, it's a 49. Yeah, friend of mine is a panel beater, so he's doing all the body work and the paint for one of his customers. So, yeah, but I think, just going back to what I said, I think I'm one of those guys that have to be doing something that I want to do, you know, and if I don't, I'm pretty miserable. So, I just lived in Australia for most of my life, been over here for about 12 years, and very quickly noticed that, you know, the history of the vehicles over here and the pre-war stuff kind of took my fancy pretty quick, and I just decided to start buying them, and did a little bit of work on them, obviously mechanic by trade, so if you can buy them cheap enough, bring them in, I'd rather do the work for me than someone else.
Yes, yeah. Well, nearly £1,000, crazy.
Yeah. So, and I've got a lot of guys around me. It's taken me about 7 years to do it, but I try and buy them, you know, buy classics, British classics mainly, because they do really well. You know, bring them in, prepare them for auction, and we use an auction company called Car and Classic that I've worked with for a long time now, and yeah, we get really good results. So it's what we pretty much do on a daily basis. It frees up some time for me to work on the car as and when I need, and you know, I don't have that stress of.
So when you're taking these cars to auction, do you give yourself a sort of a time scale? Because obviously you've got to get the bits for it, and then you give yourself a time scale to work with?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard because the auction process alone is about a month. So by the time you get it prepped, get the photography done, get the editorial written, then it's online for what they call a pre-live for a week, then it's on auction for a week, and then they come and collect it. So I always say there's about 4 to 6 weeks just in the, you know, in the sort of paperwork side of things, but yeah, some of them run over a little bit, over some time sometimes, but I try and factor that in when I'm buying something. I try not to do, because I've done a lot of work in the last sort of 6 or 7 years, you know, probably more than I should have. But if you just try and keep your eye out and know what you're buying and how to buy, you know, it can be really, really profitable.
Yeah.
You know, because as you know, I mean, classic vehicles are There's a lot of time in there.
Just people just love these cars.
Yeah.
Obviously that one there, the Ford there, at the back there, Atlantis.
Yeah.
Amazing kit. There's only 5 of them available, there was 7.
Yeah.
So what's that based on?
So it was built, it was designed in the late 70s by a guy in Norfolk called Michael Booth. He was an artist and an engineer, and he always had this dream of designing and building his own car. And he took it to pretty great lengths. It's not running at the moment, but he built a company called the Atlantis Motor Company. Designed 7 cars, built 7 cars, and they were all spoken for very, very quickly. Hand built front to back, and the drive body's based on an XJ Jag. So it's got a 4.2 Jag engine in it, but he built, hand built everything front to back. Very, very small group of guys. And I saw that car in a collection. The chap passed away, and the children had to sell the cars. He had 70 cars.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and they were all ridiculously priced. We bought 2. I saw that, didn't know a lot about it, but I fell in love with it.
Yeah.
Never seen one, and I thought, well, how often do you get the opportunity to sell a car that nobody has seen before?
No.
You can't compare it to the market or anything. So,
amazing.
yeah, it's a beautiful car. Very, 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 very nice car.
So, so it's not, you can't take it out a minute anywhere in particular?
No,
you've got to do a lot of work with it.
Well, we listed the vehicle online 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're just going to see how that goes. We put it in a classified, which we don't normally do, but that was the advice that was given to me, just so that before it does go to auction, people have an idea of what it's worth.
Wow.
It's always a gamble, but like I said, if you...
So it will be rolling then?
Sorry?
Will it be a roller then?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. So...
Yeah. That keeps you busy.
It does indeed. I could, a lot of the time I'm on my own, but I'm just very lucky. I've got a good group of guys around me. Car community is always great bunch of guys. They're always up for anything,
People come up to you last weekend and obviously spoke to you since at Manston and introduced themselves to it, like myself. And then you're just pulling the people in.
Well, that's the thing I love about it. You build something that you like yourself, and you're always a little bit sceptical as to what other people are going to think. But you come away from a weekend like Manston and you just, even on the drive home, I had people messaging me from the weekend. Hello mate, great car, can we come and have a chat? Just the group, it's just amazing, it's so positive.
Yeah.
It's really nice to walk away from a weekend like that with a bunch of guys that want to kind of come and hang out with you and build cars and...
that's it.
Yeah.
And that Manston will work. Definitely will work.
I think it's
incredible.
We walked away with a big smile on our face and thought, you know what, I think this is me. I like this.
Yeah.
I really like this. So it'll be interesting to see, how it takes off.
First one's April, I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
For April.
Yeah.
So that's good. Much trying to get down there for that one. But so obviously you'll be taking this back down there.
Yeah, we're going to take it back down there. Like I said, it was the first outing really. So just wanted to make sure it was safe. Because it's pretty crazy to drive. It's got a lot of power. A friend of mine, I don't know if you know Kenny Gomez in Scotland.
I know the name.
Yeah, he does a lot of alcohol, blown alcohol stuff. So he built the motor for us, and it's a big motor. It's obviously carbureted still, but it makes around about 1200 horsepower. But it's just a lot for the car, and the torque exceeds the power. So just trying to get used to it, play it safe. I've got a family and 2 kids. I don't want to go out there. That just too silly. But yeah, I'd like to get back out there, next time and see if we can. We've just made a few changes, spoken to a few people about just little things, tyre pressures and whatnot. And I had 20 pounds of tyre pressure in those tyres, and everyone's like, no. I said to Roger, the guy that did the change, he goes, 12 pounds. I said, really? He's like, yep. So I think that's going to make a world of difference. just bringing the tire pressure down.
And also handling side as well.
Yeah.
Will make a difference. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
So looking at some of your sponsorship stuff on there and everything else, you've got a great deal of support coming as well now. So tell us a little bit about millsys Muscle Shop and how people can get in touch with you or
So
help them.
one of my things was I'm always kind of trying to think with a bit of a sensible head on my shoulders, and when we built the car, I thought, well, we'll start a YouTube channel just so we can document the build. Hopefully, try and get some sort of interest with the car and see if we can sort of generate some, potential sponsorship or income, just to help us out with the build. But yeah, we've got a build series from start to finish on millsys Muscle Shop on YouTube. I think currently we've got about 3,000 subscribers.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah, so we're new to the game, but I enjoy doing it. It does take a lot of time to put out a good video, but it's just nice to look back and even for my kids to watch and go,
Yeah,
absolutely. Dad built that, so
it's MILS.
Yeah,
millsys
Muscle,
Muscle.
yeah.
Muscle Shop.
Yeah, we're on the usual things, Facebook, Instagram. Don't do a lot of social media stuff, but the YouTube's the one that I kind of want to,
push it.
See if we can.
So what sort of work would you take on for people if they came to you and said, I want to build this car? Or...
I still do a lot of, engine swaps and whatnot. I'm a, mechanic but a welder by trade. So I do, in Australia, I did a lot of off-road racing trucks and mud trucks and rock crawlers. So I've built a lot of chassis in my time. So, but I do a lot of, engine installations and, fabrication work. I'm pretty picky with the stuff I take on now, only because I've got so much of my own stuff to kind of take on, and it's tricky because you never know. It's the same as this car, the goalposts always move, don't they, when you're putting something together, so unless you've, it hurts sometimes financially because you know what you want to do, and it's hard to cut corners, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
You kind of think, well, just even if you sit back for a couple of months at a time and say, okay, well, it doesn't have to be done right now. It'll be finished when it's finished. But no, we do a lot of stuff. I'm putting a little Windsor in that Capri for a friend of mine. We do a lot of stuff like that. A lot of engine work and welding work, fabrication, and I'm a bit of a big block Chevy guy, so I know my way around them pretty well.
Nice, very nice indeed.
Yeah.
So projects coming up, you got any projects?
We were only talking about that last night actually. My mate said to me, what are we going to build next? I said, I don't know. So, I don't know, it'll be something different again, it won't be anything.
Something wetting your whistle at the minute?
To be honest, not really. We just sold, and I shouldn't have sold this. It was I think it was a 37 or 38? I think it was a 37. It was a Plymouth business coupe. And I sold that about 12 months ago, and I shouldn't have, because that was going to be the next one. But we hadn't finished the car, and I was just looking for funds to try and button it up. So I said, cool, we'll just car that. It was the perfect bare bones to do it. So in all fairness, it'll probably be something like that, I would think.
Wow.
Yeah.
A business coupe, eh?
Yeah.
Nice. That's very nice.
But you never know, do you?
No.
You never know what opportunities.
You just turn and turn and turn.
Yeah.
And
That's the thing I love about buying and selling cars and the car industry. I never know what I'm going to have. I never know what I'm going to buy.
Yeah.
Because the phone will ring, or you don't know.
I guess if you put something up for auction, and then you're looking at what else is out there, you could end up selling one and bringing one in and having to play with that.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Superb. What I would like to do is I would like to come back a bit later on during the year, have a revisit, find out where you are now and moving on and so on.
Absolutely.
Obviously we'll catch up with you at the racetrack as well at Manston. And who knows, you might get to take a call tomorrow at some point. But like you say, only when you're ready.
We'll go. I think the worst, it's not a fear of mine, but I just think I just want to get to know the car.
Yeah.
I mean, I've driven it in the street. It's so obnoxious that you can't do anything. You're just poodling around. But that's basically the first time I've, you know, opened it up, and even then, all it wants to do is just fry the tyres. So, yeah, if we can just do a little bit of no prep stuff and get used to the car, I think I'm pretty sold in that area. But we'll definitely take it to the track.
Yeah.
I want to see what it can do on a prep track.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I just want to know
And
that
also with everything on the learning side of it, just making sure you're not going to go.
I just want to make sure I'm confident in that car. So when I let go of that button, it's just things like you don't know where do I set the trans brake. You know, I don't know. Is it going to wheel stand at 2500 or is it going to take 4.5? I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's just trying to get my head around how the car's going to behave and react.
And only you'll get that feel, and you'll know exactly where it is. So that's brilliant.
Yeah, but definitely looking forward to getting out of the sand pod. Got a lot of guys, you know, egging me on to get out there. So
yeah, you went to a run what you run and gave it a.
I think that's what we'll do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it'll still be a prep track there, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be
nice and steady.
Be a lot of fun. But you guys will be back at Manston in April.
Yeah, we'll come down there possibly. Yeah, we will be. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Have to speak to the boss.
We'll have to come for a little drive in the car then.
Yeah.
And do some, you know.
A little bit too. Yeah.
Yeah, just to so you can, you know, see what it feels like and have a bit of fun.
Don't look surprised. So that's really good. So thank you. We'll definitely come see you at Manston.
Absolutely.
And we'll revisit again during the year. It's been nice to meet you because it's a stunning piece of kit.
Thank you. Yeah.
And the other cars you've got here as well. So anyway, so Mills is a muscle shop. Get in touch if there's anything you're interested in. Get in touch with them on YouTube as well, and let this man help you along. He knows what he's doing, and just an amazing trip up here today to come see this. So thank you very much indeed.
Yeah, cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Cheers.
Roger.
Thank you.
Cheers.